Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Retro Gaming Corner. Today we're going to be doing my Atari 5200 collection. As you can see in front of me is my Atari 5200 2-port in mint condition console. And to the left there are 3 controllers. I do have a 4th one, so I had 2 extra ones. I had an old Atari 5200 4-port with the crazy little power pack thing. That thing was a nightmare, but it ended up breaking anyway, so I got rid of it. But I do have 4 controllers, and I'm going to take NYC Gamer's advice and clean them. He has an awesome video. Check out his channel to clean the Atari 5200 contacts. But let me get started with my Atari 5200 library. I'll be right back. Okay, folks, I'm back for my Atari 5200 collection. Here we go. First off, I have Popeye for the Atari 5200 right here. Box is in pretty good shape. Really good version of this. Of course, the controllers are to be desired. But again, it's got the manual and the cartridge. I'm sure everyone's played Popeye. I used to love it in the arcades. Really fun game. But that is Popeye for the Atari 5200. Sorry, I just got a new tripod, folks, so I'm testing it out. And that is Galaxian. That is complete. So there's that one. Next up is a Atari 5200 classic boxes in mint condition, Gremlins. A very strange game. Reminds me a little of like Robotron and other stuff, but that is Gremlins for the 5200. Pretty fun game, not bad. So, next up is Defender. This box has seen better days, but a nice version of Defender for the Atari 5200. And box is a little crushed on the side, but that is complete. There we go. And last but least, Pac-Man for the Atari 5200. Right there. Box is a little bit crushed, as you can see, but that is complete. There. So those are my boxed ones. I don't have many, but those are boxed. And, okay, now I do have a lot of unboxed ones. So here, let's get started. First up, Astro Chase, which was a computer game. This was by First Star Software. Hernandez guy, he did Boulder Dash, which is an awesome game. But this is Astro Chase. More nice graphics, but kind of boring gameplay. But that's Astro Chase. Next up is Joust. Great game. Pretty good version. I always like Joust. Next up, of course, classic Miss Pac-Man. Next up is Real Sports Soccer. Next up is Rescue on Fractalus, or whatever it's called, by LucasArts. The annoying thing is there's no labels on the top of these things. I should get a labeler and start labeling these. It's like when I have them on my shelf, I know what the heck they are. But anyways. Next up, Quicks. Nice classic. It's a nice game. Quest for Quanta Roo. Very strange game. Kind of like a pyramid where you go in and out of rooms and stuff. It has a mess. That's by Sunrise Software. Next up is Super Breakout. My wife is a huge fan of Breakout. Of course, not a great fan with these controllers, but eventually I'd like to get an Atari 5200 controller and have her try that. But that's Super Breakout. Next up is Real Sports Baseball. Right there. Enough to be said. Next up, again, a 5200 trackball would be nice for Missile Command. Always a fan of Missile Command in the arcades. Okay, one of my favorite games that I have on multiple platforms, the Commodore 64, the Atari 2600, and on the Atari 5200, Montezuma's Revenge. Big fan of that game. It's a great game. And I think it was made by a kid, 16 or 17-year-old kid. He brought it to some, I don't know, convention, electronics convention, and he showed it off, and they signed him on the spot, so to speak. It was such a great game. Jungle Hunt, classic. Classic game. Swinging vines and stuff. Robotron, 2084. Kangaroo. Have this on the 2600. Alright. Fairly decent climber. Beam Rider by Activision. And let's see. Space Invaders. Classic. Not too bad version. I still love the Atari 2600 version. The Dreadnought Factor by Activision. Right there. Nice cover artwork. Buck Rogers, Planet of Zoom. Not the greatest version. I like the ColecoVision version. Actually, better than the NES. That's Buck Rogers. Next up is Centipede. Classic. My daughter loves to play that, the little one. And that actually works pretty good with the controller. Believe it or not. And that's Centipede. Football. Enough said there. Zone Ranger. Activision. Space Dungeon, which is a really awesome port, but you do need the to have the 2-controller clamp for it to keep the 2 controllers together to play it. Need I say more? Pitfall, their version by Activision for the Atari 5200. Just a little spruced up graphics, same gameplay. Star Trek, Strategic Operations Simulator. Again, I have this on the 2600, the ColecoVision, blah, blah, blah. Not a bad game. And that is by Sega. Countermeasure. Countermeasure. Don't remember what that game is. I haven't played that one in a while. Moon Patrol, a favorite game of mine. I gotta have this on multiple platforms. And that is Moon Patrol for the 5200. Star Wars, the arcade game for the 5200. I wish I had some of the boxes for these. That'd be great. Again, Star Wars, the arcade game. Not the greatest version. River Raid, which, again, I have on the Atari 2600, one of my favorite ones. Here it is on the 5200. Sorry about the glare. There we go. And Pitfall 2. For the 5200. Again, spruced up graphics. Next up is Pole Position for the Atari 5200. A nice game, but they could have used a little more speech synthesis in it on the chip. I'm waiting for that. Prepare to qualify. It just doesn't come. Vanguard. Great game on the 2600. And that is Vanguard. There. Next up is Miner 2049er. A good game by Big 5 Software. Again, this is in a cool red cartridge. That's a fun game to play. I really like that game. Next up, Star Raiders. Have that on the Atari 800. And it's pretty much the same port. A lot of these games are ported from like the 800 versions. Because I believe the Atari 5200 chipset and everything is pretty similar to the 800. So, and that is Star Raiders. Running out of room here. Next up, classic Frogger, which is a great version and a great translation and music and everything. However, who was thinking when they made this conversion that they would have to press the button to make him jump and stuff? It's a really weird controller layout. You move the stick forward, but you have to press the button, I think, at the same time. It's really bizarre. That's the only thing that destroys this game. It's a shame. I mean, it's sort of playable, but again, it's the control factor for that. Blueprint, which was an arcade game. I have that for 2600. It's got the weird little CBS handle on it. Mountain King, not a bad game. Have this on the 2600. It's an interesting game. Again, CBS Electronics. Berserk. Oh, great version. Love this one. With the voice and everything. Very impressed with this version. I love it. Mario Brothers, another favorite of mine. For the Atari 5200. Pretty good version. I think they could have done a little bit better with the graphics, but it is good. The gameplay is solid. Horrible game on the 2600. Excuse me. ColecoVision, everything. James Bond 007. Just don't understand that game. It's lousy. Don't care for it. Q*bert. Awesome game. One of my favorites. Have it on the television. Multiple platforms. Favorite of mine. Love the arcade. Dig Dug. Another favorite of mine. Pretty good version. And I must say, the Atari 2600 version I have is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. What they did and crammed into that. So that's Dig Dug. And I'll get a nice pile here. Next up, Choplifter. Again, I have this on the Commodore 64. I love that version. And here on the 5200. And I believe I have it on the 7800 and the ColecoVision. Always a lot of fun to play that. Oh, one of my favorites here. Great version. I have this on the Atari 2600, the 5200, and probably the best version. I'm back, folks, and sorry about that. My battery died. Again, so Wizard of War, yeah, I have it on multiple platforms, but the best version is the Bally Astrocade. And I believe I did a video on that earlier on, about 2 years ago, but that is Wizard of War. Again, CBS Electronics. Next up, Congo Bongo for the Sega. Classic, I have that on multiple platforms. That's a lot of fun. One of my favorite games, this is getting a little pricey now, is Zaxxon for the 5200. Awesome version. Love that. And Pengo. Always like that, a little game with the little penguin pushing the ice cubes and stuff around on the screen. Great game. And last but not least, Super Cobra. Super Cobra. Fun game. And there you have it, folks. So that's my 5200 collection. And I guess that's all there is to say. Again, I'll let you know how I made out with cleaning of my controllers. As you can see, I have a fairly decent amount of games. Very minimal games in boxes, but maybe someday I'll keep collecting more of the box versions. So until next week, post, comment, and subscribe, and hope everybody has a happy Halloween tomorrow, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers.